The music industry is a very broad term, right? Like, if you were to say to me, "Hey, I'm not really a songwriter, but I really love music and I'm really drawn to music," I would say become a manager. Find somebody that you love, invest your time and energy in them, and help them tell their story. The reason I say a manager is so important is because if you are a manager with a artist that has a modicum of some sort of success, you're in the middle of every transaction. If there's a song that gets released, they need to go through you. If there's a tour date, they need to go through you. If there's a music license, they need to go through you. Like, all the roads lead to you as the manager. If you're an artist, I would say, uh, understand where you're at in your artistic evolution, right? It can be expensive to be recording, but we're living in a time and age where successful artists are constantly releasing material. So if I was an artist, here's what I would do: go again, fill in the gaps, right? Go and find that producer that you can get to believe in you, and you say, "Hey, I want you, Tyler, I want you to come in and produce my songs with me, and we're going to own this together 50-50, and we're going to share all of the revenues together 50-50." Right? You're filling a gap for them, they're filling a gap for you, right? You need to make content. Go find an incredible videographer, somebody that is passionate about music and making videos, and say, "Hey, Tyler, I need to make some video content. You do video content. Let's do this together," right? And make sure that you always give them that credit that they deserve, right? And again, and if you could pay them a little bit, that's great too. There's some amazing programs, both through MusicNL and through Factor, that can help support some of the financial costs associated to doing these sorts of things. But again, don't feel like you have to do this all yourself. Don't be an asshole. It really, that's honestly the number one thing. This is a hard business. It's hard to make money in this business. So if you are an artist and you're in a room and somebody's giving you their time to come in and collaborate with you, be cool. It's a lot of fun to do the making the music part. It's not that much fun to be like, "I got to post on social media. I got to release content. I got to, there's a lot of work that for every 1 hour that goes into making music, you should be putting in 5 hours of self marketing. Trying to do everything yourself, right? And sometimes, and it's weird. It's a very fine line between being too self critical and being not self critical enough. It's those are kind of, to me, are the two biggest mistakes that people make. And also, I think that people are very precious about their music. They're like, "Well, it's not ready yet." It's like, no, it is ready. Put it out. And I think every songwriter, every artist, every producer, every manager, anybody that wants to do this needs to look at this and say, what do the next 12 months look like for you? What's the blue sky version of that? What's the realistic version of that? And then what's the acceptable version of that, right? So if I say, well, in 12 months I want to win a Grammy. Okay, cool. Right? In 12 months, I want to release 5 songs to Spotify. And then acceptable is, okay, well, in 12 months, I want to just make more money than I did this year. Like, whatever, right? Set these parameters for yourself and then blueprint those. Okay, I want to win a Grammy. How am I going to win a Grammy? Plan that strategy. So when you say to an artist, well, I'm going to do that. Okay, how? Well, I just am. No, you're a business. What is your business plan? Create a business plan, right? If and when that happens for you, I hope it does. That was me knocking on wood. What's the next thing? How do you then take that and use that success and turn it into continuing to maintain those eyeballs? So what is it? Is it what worked about that video? Do more of that, right? And and again, always be releasing content. I think that's something that is really understated, is that if you want to keep people engaged, always release content. We're living in a very unique time, and it's only going to get um, artists and songwriters are only going to connect more to their to their market. I can only really apply this to me and my own career. So I had had a certain amount of success, quote unquote, in Canada, but I kind of had a moment where I was like, "This is it. This is the top of this is the top of the opportunity for me here in Canada. Learning from people is really important." So Chris Taylor, who was my manager at the time, who has gone on to be one of the most predominantly successful music executives to come out of Canada and attorneys, I was watching the way he was building his career, which was he was traveling outside of Canada a lot. He was spending his own money because he believed in himself. And that eventually led to him representing artists like Avril Lavigne as they were blowing up, Nelly Furtado, Drake, Sum 41, Len. I mean, there was a point where pretty much any Canadian exported globally and internationally was Chris was connected to. And so watching him leverage little successes and turning them into bigger opportunities, that became a big lesson for me. So around 2004, I'd felt like my run had run out in Canada. Record labels, even though despite being nominated for Junos and having tons of hits on the radio, record labels I felt had started being like, okay, we're no more Justin Gray, and I was not ready to accept that at however old I was at the time, 30 years old. I was like, no, this is not happening. Like I'm not. This is not the end of my road here, and I said to my wife, I'm like, I need to be traveling a lot. I need to start going to the UK. I need to start going to LA, Nashville. So there was a period of about 3 years where it was literally I was Toronto, New York, Nashville, LA, Europe, Toronto, Stockholm, right? Like London, and I just started doing this circle. I was away all the time. But because I did that, that's when I got into rooms with Amy Winehouse. That's when I got into rooms with the Spice Girls. That's when I got into rooms with, you know, Joss Stone and people that became massively successful artists. And that